Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we are taking a look at the brand new diecast Thomas and Percy. I am super excited to take a look at these guys. I have been, like the motorized items, eagerly anticipating their release for months, and they are finally here. So before I start the video, I just want to mention two things really quickly. One, this is not going to be an unboxing video. I did a live stream a little while ago where I took a look at the brand new diecast case, and I already unboxed the other versions of Thomas and Percy that came in that case. So if you'd like to see me unbox these new toys, you can go and check out that live stream. I'll leave it linked in the description below. And second of all, I need to mention something that's really been irritating me recently. In both of the new videos where I take a look at the new stuff, I mention both in the video and most likely in the description where I got these new items. Yet people still comment, "Where did you get these? I want to get them. When are they going to be out in Canada?" Guys, I am just as clueless as you. I have no idea when these are going to be out in stores in America or Canada or Mexico or anything like that. I did not get these in a store. I bought these from a website known as A-Main Hobbies. You can buy the entire new diecast case there for about $60 after shipping, which is a bit pricey for some people, but if you really want these new items, I'd highly recommend you get that case, and you can just sell off the other All Engines Go items. But please do not leave in the comments, where did you get these? When can we expect to see them in America? Because I have absolutely no idea. They may be out when this video is released, but I have no idea. But anyways, let's stop prolonging the inevitable and take a look at Thomas. So I don't want to preempt the end of this segment or the end of the video, but I think this new diecast line is awesome, and in my opinion, I think they're better than the new motorized items, but we'll take a look at that in due time. So, before we take a look at the open toy, I want to talk about the box because I have a couple notes about this. So this is the exact same packaging style as on the new motorized items, and I mentioned in the new motorized video that I really like this packaging style, but I fear that when it comes time that you find these in stores and parents go out and get them for their kids, I feel like they might get confused with the lines because the packaging is so similar. I come from the era of Thomas Wooden Railway and Take and Play and Trackmaster all being sold in stores at the same time, and they all had unique styles of packaging, so you could easily differentiate the die-cast toys from the wooden railway toys, from the motorized toys. But nowadays, we all have just one uniform style of packaging, which again, I really like, but I feel that parents are going to start to get confused with the toys here. I think the Metal Collection banner here is a nice way to differentiate it, but if you were to just casually glance at the toys, I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge here. But anyways, let's take a look at the actual packaging itself. So up there, we've got Nitrogen Thomas still being used 16 years after its debut. That's awesome. We have the 80th anniversary logo front and center. We have the Fisher-Price logo, Thomas & Friends logo, and Thomas's name. I am getting so incredibly sick of seeing this exact same font used across everything of the Thomas & Friends franchise. We have a nice view of Thomas in the box. And I didn't notice this until recently, but the countryside in the background is really giving me like Ertl vibes. I don't know if they were trying to go with that, but when I look at this packaging, I'm immediately reminded of like the 90s or like the late 80s Ertl packaging, and then the like mid 90s Wooden Railway packaging. I think this is really nice, and this overall style of packaging invigorates so much life back into Thomas and Friends merchandise that was really lacking for so many years. We've got 3+ down there if it'll focus, and then we have this banner across the side here that says Metal Collection. So this is not new. This was added in 2024 to the All Engines Go line, and I really like this. It's actually very emulative of the Pixar Cars diecast line, which, I mean, makes sense because the same person who is designing these new toys is designing the Pixar Cars diecast line, so I think we'll see some of that same philosophy brought over into the Thomas line, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's all for the front of the box. Overall, again, even though I wish we had a different style of packaging, I think it looks awesome. I can't say the same for the back, though, because the back is very pathetic. It's not interesting in the slightest. We've got Thomas's name in some languages up here, and that's pretty much all. We don't even get like a description of Thomas, no pictures of what else is available in the case. Nothing. It's so basic and generic and quite frankly unengaging. I remember when I was a kid and I would look at the back of Thomas boxes, I would see like you'd get a look into the character cards, or you'd see what else was available at the time, or just like a cool picture of Sodor or something. Like nothing on the back here, just words. Like that's kind of pathetic in my opinion. So let's turn away from the back and just focus on the front here because that's all we really care about. So let me bring in my open version of Thomas here, and we will do our in-hand appraisal. Oh, sorry about that. So let's get a close-up look at Thomas here. I absolutely love this Thomas. I think this is wonderful. This is probably, and I might be eating my words here, and I might be over-exaggerating things, I think this is the best version of Thomas in diecast form. There are some other versions that come really, really close, some of which we'll take a look at in this video. But oh my god, just to see this shape of Thomas after being exposed to Trackmaster Push-Along and Take and Play for so many years is so refreshing. So yeah, let's start with the face here. So it's actually very emulative of the new motorized Thomas. Let me bring that in really quickly. The faces are pretty similar. It's like this Thomas is looking up at this Thomas, and this Thomas is looking up into space or something. But I like that a lot. I think I like this face a little bit better. I think the eyebrow placement is a lot more natural than this one. And I do still wish we had just normal smiling Thomas faces for both of these toys, but I still like these faces nonetheless. Yeah, really nice face, a nice big like stumpy funnel, which is pretty cool. We have a molded lamp for the first time in Thomas diecast history. That's pretty cool, and it's the exact same mold as the motorized lamp, so that kind of gives away that these two were designed by either the same person or similar groups of people. We have painted buffers, which is pretty cool to see. I don't think we've seen that since like 2013, so that's pretty awesome. Here's the side, which I actually really, really like. The rivet detailing, I'm not a huge fan of it on the CG models, but on the toys, they look pretty decent. And it just looks so classy on Thomas. I really like how they're dark blue and not like shiny or something. They look really, really nice. Again, like the motorized Thomas, we have some nice depth in between the splasher and the tank here. Again, we haven't seen that since the 2013 take-along era, so that's pretty nice. We got the nice big number 1. We got handrails on the side here. And one of my favorite things about this model is we finally have an open cab again. That was so cool to see for the first time. I absolutely love this. Even though there's a big bolt in the middle of the cab, it's still cool to see my finger through the windows here. That's pretty awesome. We have a separately fitted whistle up the top there. I would have loved to have seen cab windows, just like stickers or something, but I mean, that's probably pretty hard to get. I think the prototype had that. It might have been the prototype Railway Series Thomas had that, but I would have loved to have seen that, and I'm sure the customizers will add that. The pinstriping is flat, which is what we've had for a couple years now. I'm totally fine with that. I do like the 3D pinstriping, but I think this is totally fine for what we have. We have a short, stumpy funnel, or a dome, excuse me. Just like Thomas's description from Thomas and Gordon, so that's nice to see. We don't have water caps, though, which is interesting because that's a very important piece on Thomas. Like, how is he going to get water now? But I'm not really complaining about that. The coal load looks kind of like melted chocolate, in my opinion. It's really evident on Percy, but it's kind of cool on here. And I like that it's a 3D piece and not just, like, painted, you know? On the back, we have a really cool tail lamp, which is nice to see. I think it's also the exact same mold as on the motorized Thomas. One of the most bizarre things about this toy is that we don't have painted buffers on the back, yet we do on the front. That's really weird, and it's even weirder when we take a look at Percy in just a minute. Yeah, that's all for the top of Thomas. I really actually like how Thomas scales with the chassis here, because for a long time, the push-along Thomas looked really, really bad when you compared it to the chassis. It looked just really bottom-heavy. This looks a lot more natural, in my opinion. But while we're on the chassis, I feel like it's important to talk about the big elephant in the room here, the side rods. I'm mixed on the side rods. I think they're a really good idea, and they're very emulative of the Ertl days. And I think from the side here, it looks really, really cool. And if you were to just stick this Thomas on your shelf for like a display thing, this looks awesome. But when you turn him around to the front here, it really does look like Cars 2 Mater with the guns. That's just a little strange to me. And especially when we move Thomas along here, they don't move, which is odd, but I think that's sort of emulative of Ertl. I don't know if they were trying to replicate what Ertl tried to convey back in the day, but if they did, that's kind of cool. I also don't really like this space in the front of the chassis here. Like, everything has been moved back very slightly, and I have no idea why. And as a result, the front wheel here does not line up with the splasher, which is kind of interesting. I don't know why they couldn't have just moved that all forward like an inch or something, but oh well, I guess. I mean, it's not like the biggest deal breaker ever, but it is notable, I think. On the bottom here, we've got Thomas's name, nice and bold. Some customizers on YouTube have complained about the construction of this model because the face and the smoke box are all connected with a screw, so you can easily swap the face. But the rest of Thomas is held together with a bolt, and that's what goes through the cab right there. Which is not bad. I mean, you can just get a drill and drill that out, but, I mean, little kids probably don't have access to a drill, so if they want to do some mods, they probably have to get their parents involved, but oh well. So that's really all for this Thomas here. I really, really like it. I don't really have many complaints, although there are two notable things I would like to talk about with this toy. The first complaint is not necessarily a slight against this model, it's more so the new merchandise, and it's the quality control. I don't know if you can see, but on Thomas's splasher here, he's got like paint bubbles. You can't really see it that well on camera, but I can feel it with my thumb here. It's like bubbles in the paint. It's on this side as well. That's really annoying. Like, this is not a quality toy in that regard, right? I mean, I still love the toy. I think it looks really good, and I'm certain that there was a lot of passion that went into designing this, but with the final quality control, it just doesn't look very good to me. That's not really a slight against this Thomas, like I said. A lot of the new motorized items have really poor paint applications and misprinting as well. And Percy, my version of Percy, also has some paint bubbles, which we'll take a look at in just a minute. But I think my biggest problem with this version of Thomas is the shape. Now, again, I love that we have the tall cab again, and everything up front just looks really nice. But when we turn him to the back, you can see that he's slanted inwards. I don't know why they did this. It looks so odd. It's like, why not just make it a completely like normal square? Why'd it have to slant inwards like this? There may be a reason out there. I don't know if that's to help Thomas's shape or anything, but it's really weird. It's not so evident from the front, but from the back, it just looks really odd to me. So, but that doesn't really detract from my overall thoughts on this Thomas. I still think this looks absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to compare him to a couple older versions of Thomas here. I will bring in the most recent classic version of Thomas in diecast form, and wow. This is terrible. Like, I'm speechless. These two are designed by the exact same company, like six years apart. This is horrible. Like, look at these toys. They're totally different. These were totally designed by different people. Like, there was no passion put into this toy here. Like, I'm speechless. Like, this is terrible. This is infinitely better. I think I do like the face on this one better. These might actually be the same face mold. This one just seems a little bit bigger to me. But it's like, we can't even get painted buffers on these toys? Like, really? But yeah, look at how different these toys are. I mean, look at how bad the cab looked on this thing. It's like, how are you supposed to tell me that people are supposed to stand in this thing? Like, that is terrible. And I will give this Thomas one prop. At least it's just a regular, like, properly, like, sized Thomas. It's not like slanted inwards like this one. Oh, there's a fly. Why is there a fly in here? Get out of here. I'm trying to make a video. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize that until I was just comparing these models. But yeah, I also like the wheels on this one a lot better. These wheels always seemed really cheap to me, and I think these are still the all engines go wheels, but the spokes have been added. I really like that. That looks pretty cool. And these ones just feel so different. Like, this one feels incredibly cheap. Even if you just shake it, you can feel or hear just how cheap it sounds. This one, it still sounds a little cheap. I mean, it sounds a bit cheaper than previous versions of Thomas, but it feels just so much more quality built, and it's so nice to hold in your hand. But yeah, this Thomas is a complete joke. Although, again, he does have the water caps, which I do really, really like, but yeah, the rest of this Thomas is complete crap. Let's bring out the last good version of Thomas in diecast form. This is the 2013 Take and Play Thomas. There's actually a lot of similarities between these toys. For one, there's depth in between the splasher and the tank here. We've got a nice tall cab. The cab is open. Thomas is like properly shaped. Yeah, this one had painted buffers on the back, which is kind of funny. This is the first Thomas that was made in Thailand after production switched over from China. So that's why he has this thing in the back here, but that's to help with his construction, I believe. But yeah, I'm not sure which Thomas I like more. I really like this one, but this one's just so classic. I mean, this is the same shape we've had since the Take-Along era. I mean, both of these are really, really nice, but I think I might give it to this model. I think I like this one a little bit more. I don't know what it is, but I think this one just feels more like Thomas to me. Both of these have really good faces. I really like this face. Mine's a little crooked, I apologize, but I like this one a lot. I mean, we got the smoke box supports now. We've got the lamp here. I mean, this is really cool. Yeah, these are very similar, and they're both really, really good, but I think I like this one a little bit more. So I'll briefly take that one off, and we will bring in the Ertl Thomas, which is crazy to think about. There are like 40 years between these two toys, and wow, you can really see the difference in these toys. This Thomas is significantly taller than this one, but this one is significantly longer than this one. Man, I think this is the 90s version, because either in 89 or 90, I believe, is when they started to do the 3D printed faces instead of the stickers. So there's probably 35 years between these ones, but this general Thomas shape has been the same since 84. So you're looking at 41 years between these two toys, which is crazy. This Thomas, I've never been a huge fan of Ertl, in my opinion. That was not proper English. I've never been a huge fan of Ertl, and in my opinion, this Thomas has never really hit it out of the park for me, but it's still mildly cool. This one's actually, significantly darker than this one. You can see that. This is a very dark, ocean water blue. This one's a very, light, bright blue. I don't know if mine has been exposed to sun or anything for the past few years. I got this in a Facebook lot, for the record. I did not grow up with this, but it's interesting to think about. And you can really see the similarities with the side rods here. Yeah, I like both of these in terms of the side rods. I think this one might be a little bit better in my opinion. I don't know. It's really hard to say, but I like both of their side rods from the side on. This one also had an open cab, which was nice. What I would have loved to have seen on this new version of Thomas is lining on the back, because Season 23 Thomas does have that, so I don't know why we're lacking that. But at least this Thomas has a lamp. This lining was, incredibly big for some reason. But yeah, that's kind of funny. Interestingly, the pinstripes were not painted. I'm not sure why. It might have just been too hard, but that was a thing with Thomas merchandise throughout the 90s. Wooden Railway, Ertl, and Tomy, the pinstriping just wasn't painted. I don't know why. It must have just been too hard for them, but that started to come back in the 2000s, which is pretty cool to see. But yeah, I've never been a fan of Ertl. I don't like the coupling system. The scaling is all off. I think this one totally clears Ertl. Oh, sorry, Thomas. But yeah, that's all for Thomas's section. Overall, I think this is an absolutely wonderful toy. A couple things strike me as not great, like that space up here, and like the overall, shape of Thomas going inwards and the really poor quality control. But I don't think those really detract from this Thomas's general presence. I think this is awesome, and I think if you find this in a store, you gotta definitely buy it because this is probably, and again, I think I might get shot for saying this. I think this is the best version of Thomas in diecast form we've ever had. It's just super, super nice. So I was very impressed with that version of Thomas, and I think I'm going to be even more impressed with this version of Percy. I think this is really, really cool. Percy has never been one of my favorite characters in Thomas, and his merchandise, at least ranging back to like the Thomas Wood era and the Adventures era and Trackmaster Push Along and regular Trackmaster, was really, really bad. But Percy's kind of been, turning around in the recent years. His new Wooden Railway model is pretty cool, and his new Trackmaster model is awesome, and I think this one is going to be even better. So, we'll briefly take a look at the box here, but it is virtually the same as Thomas's. So we've got Nitrogen Percy up there in the corner. Again, 80th logo, Percy's name under the Thomas logo and such. Very cool. Here is the back of the box. Again, it's extraordinarily disappointing with Percy's name up there in the top corner in different languages. I mean, just like saying, it's Thomas's birthday, it's Thomas's 80th anniversary, go back and read the books or something like that. Like, that'd be pretty cool, but oh well. I guess we can't have nice things in this world, so I'll put Percy off to the side here and bring in my open version here. I love this Percy face. I think this is so adorable. I'm not one to really point out how cute Thomas characters look, but that face is so adorable. Like, he's got huge pupils and an adorable smile. Like, that is such a cute Percy face. I love that so much. One of my favorite things about this Percy is his saddle tank is properly molded. I think that looks really, really cool because for so many years in all forms of merchandise, Percy's tank would be rounded at the top, but then it would just sag straight down, and that looked terrible. Now, it's properly shaped, it looks nice, and it doesn't look like shit, so I really appreciate that. He's got painted buffers just like Thomas, and a nice, thick, tall funnel. The side looks even better. He's got a separately fitted and colored dome. He does not have his water cap, so that must be a theme with the designers. They don't like water caps for some reason. We've got Percy's whistle up there, and I think in front there that's supposed to be a safety valve. That's pretty cool. We've got the normal Percy detailing down here. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is supposed to be a toolbox or something. Maybe a sandbox. I could be wrong. So on the regular version of Percy, he's got these two boxes on the back here, and they're not the same height. I don't know why they weren't made the same height, but that has not been translated over here. They have the exact same height on both sides. I would have liked to have seen an accurate Percy, but alas, I don't think we can get that. Although, I do believe the new Trackmaster Percy has a shorter box on one side, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, we've got a nice open cab as well. We got a bit of rivet detailing along the cab here and then along the side, which looks a lot better than Percy's CG model. Percy's Season 23 model is without a doubt the worst out of all the new ones. I think that looks terrible because he had rivets all along the boiler here, all along the front, and on the buffer beam, and it looks really, really bad. This takes a much more restrained approach, and I like that a lot. And I, for one, love the handrails they added to the new models. That adds a lot of breakup to the colors, and it looks really, really nice. We've got a nice big number 6, which is kind of interesting. That's actually kind of reminiscent of the 2020 talking engines where their numbers were made huge. So that's an interesting choice. We've got Percy's coal bunker here. It's painted gray on this side, but it's not painted gray on the back for some reason. I don't know why, but oh well. Percy does not have lining or a lamp on the back, but he does have buffer detailing. I did not add that, you guys. That was actually there on the model when I took it out of the box. Look at that new in-box one back there. He's got painted buffers. Why couldn't we get that on Thomas? I have no idea. Yeah, I really, really like this one. The wheelbase is pretty nice. Percy is lacking his, is this on the front, like a cylinder or a piston or something? We'll see that on some versions of Percy in a minute. I would have liked to have seen that here, but Percy does have accurate side rod detailing, which is nice. I'm not sure which I like better from the side. I think Thomas's side rod detailing looked a little bit better. Percy's looks okay, but I mean it's not the worst thing in the world. But here is the chassis underneath. Percy's name, and it says 2025 up there. I don't know if these were made this year. They probably were, which is kind of interesting because they were showed off in Toy Fair in March, so they must have been made super, super early, or maybe there were only like certain versions made for Toy Fair or something. I'm not sure, but Percy is unfortunately bolted on both ends, so you can't easily get his face off, which is pretty upsetting to the customizers out there, but oh well. Before I compare him to other versions of Percy, I'm going to bring in Thomas really quick again. These look awesome together. I think they look so adorable, and these totally would be best friends. I mean, like, these are so cute. They're so adorable. Yeah, I like these ones a lot. They look really cool together. So I will bring in some other versions of Percy. I do not have the new Trackmaster Percy yet. That is not out in the States at the time of the recording of this video, but I am really excited to get that one. So I do not have a push-along Percy, but I have the next best thing. I have the 2013 Take and Play Percy, which is also pretty nice. I like this one a lot. I think I prefer this face. I've never been a huge fan of the CGI Percy face. So this one has always been a little strange to me, but I do like them both. Percy did have smoke box supports on this one, but he does not on this, which is kind of interesting. Percy's shape has been relatively the same over the past years. Well, not including like push along or whatever the hell, but these two have very similar shapes. This one has been made a little bit longer, which I actually do like a lot. This one does have the water cap in the front, which is also pretty cool. He's got a safety valve back there, and he does have his whistle, which is pretty cool. Please excuse the erosion on the magnet. This was a problem with the 2013 Take and Play models when they were moved over to Thailand. That was just a thing with the magnets. They were made probably a lot cheaper than the Take and Play, or the original Take and Play and Take Along models. Yeah, you can see the cylinder has been kept on this one, but not on this one. I wish it was kept over, but oh well. And this Percy's coal bunker has been painted black the whole way around, but it is a separately fitted piece. This one has just been painted on. Thomas's was also painted on. I would have liked to have seen a separately fitted bunker, but that's okay, I suppose. You can also see, similar to Thomas, you can see how this version of Percy kind of like bends in a little bit. It's so weird. I don't know why they did that, but it's so weird to look at from the back. Yeah. Cool, yeah, I like both of these Percys. I think I'm going to give the advantage to this one. This one is still cool, but I like this one a little bit better. So we'll get this Percy off, and I will bring in the Ertl Percy from years past. Wow, again, there were like 40 years between these two toys. And again, Percy has remained somewhat similar. I like this Percy shape-wise. I'm not sure which one I like better. I think this one looks more like Percy from the model series, where he looks like a green caterpillar. But this one, I think it's just, I don't know. I like both of these models a lot. They're pretty cool. I've never been a huge fan of the lime green they give to Percy. I like this green a lot. And again, the pinstriping would have added a whole lot of, I guess, breakup to the color instead of just being like one solid color the whole way. But, excuse me. It's fine, I suppose. He also has the cylinder here, and he's got side rods, which look pretty nice. They actually, I think they were designed to look like they were going into the cylinder, which is accurate, I suppose, so that's pretty cool. And again, he has an open cab, and I just realized this. He has windows on the back, But they cannot do that with this one because the space between the bunker and the cab is so small, so that'd be kind of a waste of time and money. Yeah. I'm trying to look for any notable differences. Oh, that fly is back again. It's in front of the camera. I apologize. He also has his water cap here and separately colored dome, whistle, and safety valve. So that carries over to this one, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Face-wise, I think both of these faces are actually pretty nice. I do like this Percy face. It's painted a little strange, but this one is pretty nice in terms of like a CGI Percy face. Yeah, I don't know which one I like better. I think in terms of a model series Percy, this one wins. But in terms of like a modern like CGI series Percy toy, this one wins. But I think both of these models are pretty nice. So that's all for Percy here. I did want to show off the poor quality control on this one because that's probably my only big complaint with this model. You can see right there in the light, he's got like 3 or 4 or even multiple. Look at that. He's got tons of paint bubbles all over him, and it's very strange. And then I also noticed on this side, the cab detailing is like bleeding onto the side here. You can see that some of the rivets are kind of covered up. It's not very apparent on this side, but this side is a little weird. And I think my new in-box Percy kind of has that as well. I don't know if you can see. But I also noticed, look at the coal. Like, the coal is also not fully painted in on the side here. There's a little bit of green creeping in. And it's also apparent on this one, too, if you see. Yeah, that's weird. But no, I still love this Percy. I think this is fantastic. He looks really, really nice. Scaled very well. Love that he has an open cab. Oh, speaking of the cab, I had to mention one more thing really quick. If you see inside Percy there, he's got a gold piece of plastic underneath his metal shell. That is actually for the dome and the whistle here, so that's pretty cool. It's not like a firebox glow or something. That's just an added piece of plastic to give Percy some different colors, which is pretty cool. But yeah, love this version of Percy. I think this is awesome. I don't know if I'd say this is the best version of Percy in diecast form. I think it's pretty close. I'm still a fan of this version, and I do really like the Ertl version as well, but I think this one absolutely trumps what came before it. I mean, not the All Engines Go one. That looks pretty decent in my opinion, but the Push Along and the Take and Play and the Adventures Percy don't look anywhere near as good as this. So that is all for this video here. I'm going to do my final wrap-up and give my final recommendation. So if you give me just 1 second, I'm going to clear off the table, and I'll be right back. Alright, everybody, so that'll do it for Thomas and Percy. I think both of these models are awesome. It's so cool to see their classic shapes implemented in merchandise again after being exposed to the crappy proportions of Trackmaster Push-Along for so long. I love that they have open cabs, they have separately fitted features, and the rivet detailing looks pretty nice. I'm still mixed on the side rods, and the quality control is not great, but I still absolutely love these toys so much. So that's going to be all for this video here. I do not have James and Henry at the moment. I did not order their case because that was going to put me at about $100. I can wait for those. And when I do get when I do get James and Henry, they'll be getting their own video. I'd also like to do a video for the Mattel 80th Thomas and fingers crossed the Railway Series Thomas if I can find it, but apparently that one is going to be extraordinarily rare, so yeah, good luck on me finding that. But that's all for this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I've got more 80th videos coming down the pipeline. I'm not sure when the next one will be because we already have all of the new stuff that we have at the moment. I'm not sure when the diecast stuff will be out in stores. I'm not sure when the motorized Percy or Neo or like Duck will be in stores, but I assume probably around September or October or so. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. So yeah, that's all from me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you later. Bye!